Also, if anybody would like to memorize the words of the Gettysburg Address, I have about 20 copies of it here. You know, on November 19th, it will be 150 years since Lincoln gave that extraordinary speech. And I found a way to memorize it much easier than jamming it into a couple of paragraphs. I spread it out. Each line is a new sentence. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is rather for us to be dedicated to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. But I only brought about 20 copies. It'll be out there, but don't take a copy unless you really intend to. I guess if you wrote me, I'll get more copies run off.
You know, I think your memory is pretty good.
If I go into a class of very small children, like a second or third grade, I say, "Hello, cousins." Well, they're a little surprised. So I say, "We're not first cousins, that's when you have the same grandparent." Nor even second or third cousins. But listen, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, and the hour is getting late. We've all been a doubling, all been a doubling in 32 years. We've all been a doubling in 32 years. That's what the human race is doing right now. Doubling in numbers. Twice 16 is 32. Next comes 64. Next comes 128. Do we need to hear more? Doubling in 32 years. You have to sing it. And it's kind of fun when 20 kids all find themselves saying doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Next comes 256, next 512, next 1,024. Figure it out yourself. Doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling in 32 years. The tune is an old gospel song. The old ark's a mover in, the mover in, the mover in. The old ark's a mover in. We're almost done. So I just stole the melody. And double 10 more times. We had ancestors over 1 million. Double another 20 times. We had ancestors over 1 trillion. Now hold on, kids. There never were 1 trillion people in the world, at least not yet. That means that some of our ancestors must have married cousins. And you and I, and everybody in the whole world, we're all distant cousins of each other. No matter the color of our skins, or the shape of our eyes, or the language we speak, we're all distant cousins.